of yesteryear. Now, it happens to be on the 28th of Tishrei, at the end of this month, and the Hilula of a famous rabbi from Yemen, from Aden, I believe. Harab Mahalal Adani, Zeche Tzadik Libracha, famous rabbi of his time, a rabbi I believe we've mentioned about on various occasions before here inside this series, and it's not the first time we are definitely speaking about him. He passed away, I believe, back in the year 1950. We're talking about 75 years ago here from the time of recording. He was a great rabbi in Yemen. Remember, we've spoken already inside this series of approximately 100, possibly about 100 Yemenite rabbis, respectively, of yesteryear. So it's always a privilege to go inside these territories and these countries in of itself. So he was born, I think, to be precise, on the 27th of December, 1883. He passed away the 9th of October, 1950. Naturally, that was the 28th of Tishri. He was a famous person, especially in his place. He was a biblical commentator. He was a businessman. He was a Zionist. He was working within regards to different Zionistic activities, trying to move people to Eretz Israel and promote the land of Israel. He was a writer. I believe he was a Parshan Mikra, and he was a Hebrist. He will write within regards to Hebrew. He was one of the revivers, let's just say, of the Hebrew language in of itself, really trying to do it. Madmiyot habolotot biadut Aden betchilat hamea ve'esrim, especially at the start of the 20th century. It was one of the outstanding, let's say, the Adani characters over there. I think he would actually move to Eretz Israel. There was a wave of Aliyah, I think, in the year 1930. He would write various different Torah works in Hebrew over there. And he initiated various different industrial enterprises in Tel Aviv, especially when he actually moved to Eretz Israel. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous man's life over here. Now, he was born, I think, it said over here, Mahalal Adani, nolad b'shem Shalom Ma'ala, Ben Yaakov be'ir Aden. So similarly, his father was a prominent person of the name Yaakov. And very essentially, Be'et Shaita Kolonia Britit, there was a British colony over there, B'shnat 1883, around that time. Laviv Rav Shalom, Vilimo Esther. His father's name was Rav Shalom, I believe, and his mother's name was Esther. Mishmachto Haita B'kashrit Nisuin, in Mishmacha Moshe Benav, if I'm not mistaken. It says over here actually in Hebrew, just to state it over here, just to clarify. So his father was, a prominent family in himself. I think they were related to the Moshe Benin family, if I'm not mistaken. That's another interesting thing to point out. Morashei Yadut Eidan, Biladto Lamad B'Talmud Torah B'Mokomi. He would learn inside a Torah academy inside this place. Imori Naratz Masharish B'Talmidav Chiba Miuchedet LeTanach. So they would study, especially the Torah, Nevi'im, and Ketuvim, respectively. That really delve into Torah. Kshedagal Asak בעשייה זעירה ויסד בעדן מפעלים קטנים לקרח ולציור סיגריות. Very, very interesting. I think they were establishing small factories in Aden, I think, with regards to producing ice and cigarette production, a small-scale industry, let's just say, in of itself over there. A very interesting industry. הוא היה למדת בולטת בקרב יהדות עדן מראשי אגודות הצדקה סוכת שלום. There was a charity organization, I think, the סוכת שלום. סייע לעני לקהילה. The family, I believe, in of itself would help the congregation out within regards to charity funds and so on. הוא שיחק בתפקיד מרכזי בחיזוק קשרי הקהילה לקרונות הלאומיות למוסדות הציונים וליישוב היהודי בארץ ישראל. They would very much help out people come to make aliyah to Eretz Israel, into the land of Israel at that point in time, and really do various different Zionistic activities over there within regards to the foundation and so on. והקמת מוסדות חינוך עבריים מודרניים בקהילה בשנת, I think in 1912, they would open up, let's say, more modern Hebrew language places, centers over there. היה מצדי הבאת עברי Michel Aden, I think, was responsible with regards to the foundation of the committee, the Ivrit committee, let's just say, at that time. שנוסד כדי להפיץ את ידיעת העברית. בקרא בקהילה היהודית המקומיות וניהל עולם קריאה בספרייה עברית ברחוב הראשי של העיר. So really inside various different places inside Aden, really to promote the Hebrew language again. There'll be various different establishments of libraries and so on and so forth, reading practices and so on within regards to the Hebrew language. פעל רבות גם כדי לסייע לפליטים יהודים שהגיעו לעדן מאזורים אחרים בתימן עקב גזירות ורדיפות. There was problems also in Yemen, I think, anti-Semitic and so on and so forth. So how people come and move to Aden also, I believe. it's actually stated over here. So there was, unfortunately, a lot of gezerot and huge amounts of persecution that actually took place at that stage in time. Od b'shivto בעדן, הוא שלח את ילדיו לארץ ישראל להתחנך בג'ימנסיה עברית. There was famous, I think, school education network called the Hebrew Gymnasium. Somewhere I actually visited outside here on this channel. I think this was between 1895 to 1903. הוא ביקר בארץ ישראל בשנת 1930. He would visit Eretz Israel in that year. עלה עם משפחתו לארץ ישראל והתיישב בתל אביב. So he would end up dwelling in Tel Aviv. That was it. בקרבת כיכר דיזנגוף. He would actually live near the Dizengoff Square. וכאן קיבל את כינויו Mahalal Adani. That will be his nickname. And seemingly he became famous for that name. הוא היה מהראשונים לייסד תעשייה זעירה בתל אביב, ולאחר עלייתו ייסד את מפעל עונג. The delight למשקאות קלים בעיר, ולאחר מכן את מפעל הסריגה, שריון ברמת גן. So he would bring about, he was very, very famous at that point in time. He found different things. He purchased land in Ramat Gan, factories, I think, connected, I think soft drinks factories, if I'm not mistaken, also, and do various different works, if I'm not mistaken, and was very, very much integral at that point in time. We're learning some real Tel Aviv history over here, which we won't hear probably from anywhere else here inside the English language. So that's very, very interesting. He would היה פעיל גם ברכישת קרקעות להתיישב היהודים. It was working within regards to real estate and property for the Jewish community over there, for people to settle down. בשנת 1937, in the year 1937, הקים בית מהלל. He will actually establish over there the house of מהלל. בתוכנן האדריכל רפאל מיגדוביץ'. He would actually work together with a famous architect, I think, Raphael Megiddo, or also he's known as, who was a famous Mandis, I think, Ramat Gan, during the years 1937 to 1950, respectively. This was, once again, in the Kikar Tzina Dizengoff, also, respectively, over there in Tel Aviv. Now, it's actually, he got, העדני היה נישוי לביתו של יהודה, אחיו של בנין משה, who we've mentioned about before. Very, very interesting enough. And Shayan Nasi Kilat Aden, he was a president of the Adani congregation over there. הוא היה אב לשבעה ילדים וגידל את כולם ברוח עברית לאומית. בנו הבכור, יעקב, סיים בהצטיינות את ג'ימנסיה הרצליה. He would actually learn inside this הרצליה gymnasium. למד רוקחות בשוויץ. He would actually go to Switzerland to learn. התנדב לצבא הבריטי במהלך מלחמת העולם השנייה, especially during the Second World War, the British Army. ונפטר מחלה מעת לאחר שחרורו. I think he passed away through illness in the year 1940. Now, he wrote different writings over here. McGill, from a young age, Mahalal Adani, קרא בשקיקת ספורות, רכש באופן אוטודידקטי, השכלה יהודית וכללית רחבה. He'll write various workings, let's just say, in of itself. We're running out of time at the moment because it's about to be Shabbat in a few minutes, so I'm going to have to say this quickly. He would read, even from a young age. He was into literature. He had broad Jewish and general education. He would self-teach himself. And he authored dozens of works during his lifetime, commentaries on the Bible, philosophical works, I think also connected to the commentaries of Rav Kook also. Now, among the works, I think he would actually write was Ora Chozar, which was on Sefer Parshanot Shel Megillat Kohelet, also Megillat Kohelet, we just read, if I'm not mistaken, over here. We were just inside the festival of Sukkot, so especially the Ashkenazi communities would actually read the Kohelet Megillah, itself respectively here at this specific point in time. That's what I'll have to point out here from the outset of it, which is very, very interesting. So we would do that. I think there'll be 3 different books inside of it. Bein Aden Leteman in 1947. המתאר בצורת שירות עמיקה את עדן, הווה החיים בה קהילת היהודית ותרבותה. I think in the year 1988 it will actually come out through the writings of other writings of Mahalal Adani, Berichat Shel Professor Yosef Tobi. He would actually publicize his books. He was a famous professor, I think within regards to the Hebrew language, also in University of Haifa. And Adka הוצא לאור שני כרכים נוספים של הספר בין עדן לתימן. This was between the years 1989 to 1990, the publications. וכן חיבורו הפרשנות של העדני לספר איוב, the book of Job in 1993, Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, Mishlei, and Kohelet in 1996, Tehillim, Pirkei Avot, Megillat Ruth, Eika, Megillat Esther, the various different Megillot he was very much connected to also, which is very, very interesting. כמו כן הוצא לאור חיבורו הנפש החיה בחוכמת הקודש. I think this was in the year 2001, and פרקי מקרא in the year 2003. Now, among his books, let's just explore it. Ora's Choser. This was in 1940. Ben Aden V'Teiman. This is Anshe Midot. This was 1947. Ben Aden V'Teiman. Beit Hillel Beit Nasi. In Perush LeSefer Eov there was Perush LeSifrei Shir Hashirim. Perush LeSifrei Tehillim. Hanefesh HaChaya and Pirkei Mikra also. Now I think there's a street in Tel Aviv named after him under his name also, which is very, very interesting. There's a lot reported if you look at the various Temani Adani websites within regards to his history, because obviously he was a famous rabbi of his time, a rabbi we've spoken about before. He lived, once again, now there's varying opinions. I believe he was born in the year 1883 and passed away in 1950, so he was about 67 years of age at the time he passed away, which is very, very interesting enough. So just to explore a few more things within regards to him, his great books. I think he passed away in Tel Aviv, if I'm not mistaken, 28th of Tishrei, and left behind many, many books, and some of which were published, I think, by his son after he passed away. So that's very, very interesting also to point out. Now, let's explore a few of the teachings from his book, actually from the Hayomi website over here, which is actually the Ora HaChozer will actually say, which was on the Parsha, Devarim, it'll actually give a teaching, I think, on page 299. Melamed ki nefashot ha'adam hen achayot shnoldu mibeten achat. This is one of the teachings he gives. Let's explore one more last teaching. Melamed shedrachim rabot hashi'ir Moshe lekelkalet aniyim. This actually comes from page 317 to 318, respectively. Very, very interesting. So he was a great rabbi of his time, a great Yemenite rabbi. We haven't spoken about many Adani rabbis or of that point in time. I don't know if he received an official smicha or not. So if anyone knows more information within regards to that, I really, really appreciate that. If anyone can let me know that information. But yeah, he was certainly a very, very great rabbi of his time, which we have to point out also. Rabbi Mahalal Adani, to be precise. Very, very famous name, and one of the founders, let's just say, of modern Tel Aviv, one of the early builders of Ramat Gan, and so on and so forth, and a famous Zionist, and let's say one of the outstanding figures of Adani history, without a doubt, here inside the series that we've spoken about. So that's very, very interesting. So friends over here, we're a community here. We're learning about famous rabbis, Jewish personalities of yesteryear. We went into Aden territory over here today, because it's a Hilula here on the 28th of Tishrei of this famous Yemenite personality over here. If you descend from any of the great Rabbanim that are speaking about here inside the series, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information now about the great Chacham of yesteryear, and as we're exploring more. Now, on this channel, we just don't record videos of great rabbis. We're doing huge amounts of Torah content. We're exploring Jewish history, especially Zionistic history, the rabbinic history in the Sephardic countries, especially, and from various different places. Also, we are recording with great Jewish personalities here of modern day, giving a burst of inspiration and chizuk to really inspire us every day. So I recommend everyone to actually watch those videos, and so on and so forth. So that's another interesting urgence, let's just say, within regards to that. We also do tours all over Israel. We like to tour the different parts of Eretz Israel and really, really get inspired, let's just say, in of itself, and really just do bags of great information and promoting. So please, everyone that's watching live at the moment, subscribe to the channel. Wishing all a Shabbat Shalom. We're about to go inside Shabbat Parashat Bereshit, and thank you very much for spending the time to watch. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom. I appreciate